Hello, people. How's it going? We're getting into getting scripture. Get your Bibles out. Get your Torahs, your Korans, what have you. The ancient texts, Sumerian texts. We're going to get into the source of Noah's flood water. Come to find out, there's enough water on this planet to actually cover the planet and put a pretty good sized ark 3,000 feet above sea level on the side of a mountain called Ararat in Turkey. So let's just dig right into it. It's going to be a couple of picks here. Shouldn't be too bad. God's source of water for Noah's flood is not from ice melt. It's from the transition zone. The firmament, the volume of water in this location can cover the entire planet with water. So transition zone, the firmament. We're gonna take another try at interpreting the Genesis. And Genesis, God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so, and God called the firmament heaven. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here is we're going to basically, the firmament is not above the earth. It's not the sky in heaven. It's actually in, that's Genesis 1:7-8. The new firmament that you're going to learn about today is right here. The ocean, or the surface of the earth, is the upper firmament, and the lower firmament is the transition zone, which is made up of ringwoodite and some would argue water. I would argue water, actually. I'm going to present the case. So just back up a little bit. The upper firmament is not the sky and heavens anymore. It's just the surface of the earth, and the lower is the transition zone, on which God put the water down. All right, and divided the waters. So he divided the waters into two. All right, he took when he first in Genesis creation, the earth was void, and how did it go? I forget. The light of God shone across the waters of the deep. Okay, so it's just a water planet for the most part. So he split the water, and what he did was he left half on the surface and put half in in between the upper and lower mantle. All right, moving on. I'm not a real big scripture guy, so although I know a little bit. I know a little bit to be dangerous. According to Genesis creation narrative, God created the firmament to separate the waters above the earth from the waters below. The earth, the word is anglicized from the Latin firmamentum, which appears in the Vulgate, a late 4th century transcript. So here we are. Here's the case in point that we're going to prove is the source of Noah's flood water. And there's aqueducts coming down from the surface of the ocean, coming down. And we're talking 666. Anytime you see 660, just round it off to 666. And now we're on to something, okay? So this is the proverbial beast. You know, check out my other videos, Who's the Beast? Well, this is another one of the beasts, okay? So it's the earth going through its changes. And when you're flooded out, it's a beast, okay? All right, so anyways, this, there was diamonds found. There's theoretical, there could be water in the form of water in this transition zone because it's under pressure, just like a boiler, a high pressure boiler. You can, it keeps its water, it keeps liquefied in a state of water, and it can withstand high temperatures. As long as it's under pressure, water will retain its liquid state, okay? And here goes another simple picture there. It just comes down. So So anyways, well, we're going to get into this is ringwoodite. It has a high concentration of water, or maybe, I don't know, I think it's like 2%. But anyways, that's like what this layer is made out of. This transition layer is theoretically theorized to be made up of a big bulk of this material, which traps the water, but it also allows water to exist in its state. I think the water in this is missing an ion. The water concentration in the ringwoodite is missing an ion, if I'm not mistaken, and so it's in some kind of a suspended state. The origins of water on Earth are ringwoodite. So it could be that ringwoodite was the original source of water, and when it cooled off, obviously the water went to the top, and then God had to come in and separate the two. This kind of gives you a big, idea of the size of the water, the mass of the water underneath the ocean, or underneath the crust, underneath the upper mantle. So you have a huge body of water. It has the potential under certain circumstances to rise above, just like the magma plumes of volcanoes. They come up from these depths, and they reach the surface. So, and where would this water come up? Like if there was going to be a place, like the natural flow of new magma or new plates, the newest formation of plates is the mid-ocean ridges, and obviously volcanoes. So the mid-ocean ridges are a nice slow 2 to 3 inches going breaking left, breaking right, or east and west, and they they're a constant movement every year. There's new materials coming out. So we are in a very high stressed environment on this planet during certain parts of its large cycles, the Ice Age, the interglacial age, interglacial period. And that being said, you have a lot of energies working on plate tectonics, and it's not fully understood what's going on, but there is a potential that you could have a rupture between the upper mantle and this transition zone, and actually bleed water into the ocean and cause a significant flood of biblical proportions. All right, so here's the world with land on it on the left. There's the water world. No land to be seen. And we get into some descriptions here. The 600th year of Noah's life, second month, again 600 rounded up to 666. I'm just kidding, but I tend to do that anyways. Second month, 17th day. The fountains of the great deep broke apart, and the windows of heaven were open. It began to rain. This happened on the 17th day of the second month. Noah actually entered the ark 7 days prior to this. I got his voicemail. It says you better get busy. Start loading up. Okay. That's Genesis 7:11. Genesis 7:11 to 12, 7:17 to 20. Rain fell for 40 days. Okay. And then the water covered the earth. Now, if you're having a rupture between the upper mantle, or this transition zone, to the surface of the ocean, water is going to come up very high temperatures, okay? So that being said, we all know what creates rain clouds. It's vapors. It's the sun warming up certain parts of the ocean, vaporizes the ocean, they go up, makes rain clouds, they hit particles, raindrops get created, hits the saturation point, falls on your head, get the umbrella out. So just making a point that that's where this rain came from, okay? All right, rain fell for 40 days, and then water covered the earth's highest places at that time, over 20 feet, 15 cubits, and began the stage of flooding until the next milestone. So let's see, moving on. I've read it was 20 inches, but all right, he's got 20 feet up here. But anyways, 40 days of 20 inches, you're talking a significant amount of water, 80 feet high or whatever. So let's see. Well, it'll be up there anyhow. Let's see, we're moving on. 150 days, including the initial 40 days. Genesis 7:24, 8.5. The water rose to its highest level, covering the whole earth, sometimes between the 40th and the 150th day, and the end of these 150 days are the 17th day of the 7th month. And let's see, 7th month. The ark rested on the mountain of Ararat on the 150th day. So let's say 20 feet times 150 days is 3,000 feet. Now it's probably going to be higher if it was 20 feet above, everything before the 150 days. You're talking some serious water here coming up onto the surface of the earth. Trillions a gallon. The springs of the great deep were shut off, and the rain from above ceased, and the waters began continually receding. Okay. And Genesis. The tops of the mountains became visible on the 10th month of the first day. After 40 more days, Noah sent out a raven, so on and so forth. You guys can check out the rest of it. So we have, here's Noah, 40 days, the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. And let's see what's going on here. Just checking my time. And there is evidence put out. It's well known. A lot of big authors. Christopher Dunn found some salt up there in the Queen's Chamber. I don't know if it's he found it, but he added it into his book on one of his theories. Tectonic also has recorded a lot of salt, and a few other people out there in the Egyptology world. There's evidence of salt being around the different heights, and one particular level of salt was located at the 224-foot level, which is the Queen's Chamber. All right, so we have a significant level. That would be about 400 feet higher than what it is today, right now. Today's sea level, you have to add another 400 feet to get to the Queen's Chamber. That all being said, this water, I believe, came before was the end of the last interglacial period. Okay, I was promised myself I wouldn't get into the times, but I know everybody's curling up in the fetal position, sucking a thumb now. But anyhow, it's just an image. There's evidence of water erosion on the Giza Plateau. You can say it was from rain. You can say it was from it was inundated by floods. There's evidence that supports this hypothesis. And then, lo and behold, Revelations 12:15. And the serpent cast water like a river out of its mouth after the woman, to cause her to be taken by the waters. And Genesis 7:4. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe out the face of the earth, every living creature I have made. Yeah, it's trial by error. You keep at it till you get it right. Hopefully, he's got it right this period. Anyhow, this is the Serpent Mountain out in Ohio. It's the biggest effigy on the planet. I think it's 1,400 feet. Obviously, that's the woman's egg. That's the mouth of the serpent. I surmise. Everybody thinks it's the fallopian tube, and a lot of things have multiple meanings. But to me, this is instrumentation. Nobody knows who put this here. But if this starts to flood out, get in the boat. You're going to need a bigger boat. Revelations 12:15 is another particular area where a woman is associated with the flood. And the serpent cast water like a river out of its mouth after the woman, to cause her to be taken by the water. So this is the Queen's Chamber. That's where salt was found. And you know, it's just evidence that there was a large flood. And even if you had all the ice melt on the planet, you're still not going to get it. You're still not going to get the feet and the mass of this, the volume of this flood. Okay, I guess like after we, you know, 10 months according to Genesis there, the waters recede. And it's probably just a reconfiguration of plate tectonics. The pressures equalize, things cool down. Back down it goes. I'm sure if it's a flood, global flood, I'm sure that you know, it's possible that, you know, you're going to be, if it's whatever season you're in the northern and southern hemisphere, you're going to be building ice. So this is the start of your glaciers, and this most likely is the beginning of an interglacial period. So I'm surmising that the end of every interglacial period, there is a flood. Now, God said He wouldn't kill us by, or take us out by, or end the world with water this time. It would be by fire. So that doesn't mean to say there's not going to be a flood after the end of the world with fire. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a flood to clean everything up. So just a little contradiction in terms there, but this is the side of one of the mountain peaks on Arafat. I think it's 17 miles away from the host mountain, and it's surmising that there's some kind of a you know, structure up there that matches the location of the ark. Team claims to have found in 2007-2008 7 large wooden compartments buried at 13,000 feet above sea level near the peak of Mount Ararat. We're talking, like I said, we're talking about some serious water here. This is a lot of water. And the only place you're going to get the water like that is from the firmament, or the transition period locations. Now, a lot of the moons up there in the solar system, they have water volcanoes. There's a lot of hydraulics, water hydraulics going on in our solar system. We have a lot of water hydraulics going on our planet. It's not rare. Water moves, and like I said before, you want to check out my YouTube videos. Pangea is all wrong and missing energy in plate tectonics. Now those are, I shouldn't have named them differently, but they're both a continuation of one video, and it does show that the potential for what I'm talking about can happen. There can be a rupture in between the lower and upper mantle, and water can get to the surface quite easily. And again, John Shaughnessy here, Pyramid Gravity Force. That's a book on the pyramids, and there is something about the moon co-authored with a great researcher named Wendy Salter over there in England. I'm over here in the States. All right, so basically, in a nutshell, I'm just putting out a theory. This video is just putting out a theory where the water came from for Noah's flood. And if it happened before, it can happen again. And you know, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you know, these stories came down from ancient times, and it's, you know, that's what it's there for, is to figure out what is going on, when it's going to go on, and what are the dynamics and the mechanics of what actually could transpire to the point where you get that much water on the surface of the earth. Okay, all right. Hope this makes sense. I'm gonna watch it, as painful as it is, and then I'll publish it in a few. All right, people. Peace out.